Have you ever just paused to really consider what life might actually look like, say, 30 years from now? Are we talking, flying cars and personal robots or something completely different?
It's hard to picture, isn't it?
Or maybe, your mind drifts the other way to the past, fantasizing about what a quick trip back could do for your present.
Right.
Especially if you knew just a little something the folks back then didn't.
Yeah, the temptation would be huge.
Well, today, we're not just imagining. We're strapping ourselves into the DeLorean for a deep dive into a cinematic journey that dared to show us tomorrow and then some.
Oh, I like where this is going.
We're heading straight into the heart of Back to the Future Part 2, a film that it wasn't content to just sit in one time, was it?
Not at all. For this particular deep dive, our primary source material comes from, well, it's a truly comprehensive article, really detailed. It meticulously details the film's entire journey, from its unexpected development and really intricate plot to the innovative production processes. And its, frankly, complex reception by critics and audiences alike.
So it covers the whole shebang.
Pretty much. It's a real treasure trove of information that lets us see the film from all angles, peeling back the layers to reveal what makes it tick.
Gotcha.
Our mission today, then, is to unpack not just the famously convoluted and brilliant plot of this groundbreaking film, but also the fascinating, often challenging story behind its creation.
Right.
We'll explore the unexpected hurdles faced by its cast and crew, the truly innovative visual effects that brought its futuristic vision to life, and, of course, its surprisingly prescient and sometimes hilariously off-base predictions about the year 2015.
What predictions? Everyone talks about those.
Exactly. Ultimately, it's more than just a wildly entertaining movie. It's kind of a commentary on the nature of time itself, the ripple effect of our choices, and the often unforeseen consequences that can echo across generations.
That's right. And as we navigate this temporal landscape, we're going to try and extract the most intriguing nuggets of knowledge, those aha moments that perhaps you've never considered before, even if you've seen this movie a dozen times. Get ready to discover what makes Back to the Future Part 2 such a remarkable and surprisingly enduring piece of cinematic history.
The genesis of a groundbreaking sequel.
Let's start right at the beginning, setting the scene for Part 2's inception. What's truly fascinating is that this sequel wasn't even on the drawing board initially.
No, really?
Yeah, it genuinely wasn't part of the original plan for Marty and Doc Brown's adventures. Can you imagine a world where the story just ended after the first one?
It's hard to, isn't it? Director Robert Zemeckis himself was quite clear after the first Back to the Future film. He said a sequel simply wasn't in the cards. They felt they had told a complete story. But then, the original film became this absolute box office phenomenon, a massive global hit.
Right, it was huge.
It captivated audiences worldwide in a way few films do. So with that level of success, the studio, Universal, quite naturally came calling for more.
Makes sense.
Zemeckis and his screenwriting partner, Bob Gale, they ultimately agreed to proceed, but they had one crucial, non-negotiable condition.
Oh, what was that?
Both Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd absolutely had to return to reprise their iconic roles as Marty McFly and Doc Brown.
Ah, okay. Non-negotiable.
Totally. Without them, there would be no Part 2. Their star power and, frankly, their undeniable chemistry were just too vital to the franchise's identity.
Definitely. And once they were locked in, I read there was actually a surprising early regret that Zemeckis and Gale later admitted to. They wished they hadn't ended the first film with Jennifer Parker in the DeLorean alongside Marty and Doc.
Oh, that's interesting. Why was that?
Well, it's a fascinating insight into the challenges of sequel writing. The reason? Her presence, quite simply, forced them to weave her character into the Part 2 story right from the jump.
Ah, I see. So it sort of constrained them.
Exactly. Rather than giving them complete creative freedom to craft an entirely new adventure, unconstrained by that specific character, it's a subtle but significant limitation when you're trying to plot out a complex time travel narrative like this one.
It certainly shaped the narrative from the very beginning, and the script itself, well, it went through quite an evolution as a result.
How so?
Bob Gale primarily wrote the first draft by himself, which is pretty impressive, actually.
Yeah.
Because Zemeckis was deeply immersed in the demanding, effects-heavy production of Who Framed Roger Rabbit at the time.
Oh, wow. Right. Roger Rabbit. That makes sense.
And interestingly, the third act of Part 2 was initially envisioned to take place in 1967.
1967, not 55 again.
Nope. They pictured Marty's mother, Lorraine, as a flower child protester, and his father, George McFly, as a college professor at Berkeley.
Wow, that would have been a very different movie.
Totally different vibe.
But then, a pivotal decision changed everything. And this is where it truly gets interesting, I think. Zemeckis had this crucial realization and decided to pivot dramatically. Instead of moving forward to 1967, they understood that returning to 1955, the familiar setting of the original film, offered an incredibly rich and much more potent opportunity.
Ah, okay. So doubling back.
Exactly. It allowed them to explore time paradoxes in depth, those mind-bending situations where altering the past directly impacts the future in unexpected and often humorous ways.
Right, the ripple effects.
And more importantly, it gave them the chance to revisit events from the first film in a completely new, often comedic, and self-referential light. This decision to loop back, well, it not only added immense layers of complexity and comedy, but it also became a signature of the film's narrative ingenuity. It made it feel both familiar and entirely fresh.
That choice was absolutely foundational to the film's unique interwoven structure. Thematic goals were also a significant driver here.
Okay.
Gale explicitly stated that he wanted to push the first film's ideas even further for comedic effect, really leaning into the absurdity and convoluted situations that time travel could create.
Right, amplifying the fun.
Yeah. Zemeckis, on his part, was quite vocal about his concern regarding making wildly inaccurate predictions about the future. He disliked films that attempted to do so, noting that even Stanley Kubrick, a director he admired greatly, missed obvious advancements like the personal computer in A Clockwork Orange.
Good point.
So their decision was to intentionally make it funny, rather than strive for scientific accuracy. They explicitly contrasted this approach with the often pessimistic Orwellian futures depicted in other sci-fi films of the era.
So, less Blade Runner, more Funhouse Mirror.
Exactly. They weren't interested in a grim, technologically rigid future, but rather one that felt lived in, chaotic, and often delightfully ridiculous.
And speaking of characters, there's a fascinating real-world inspiration for a key antagonist in the film, the alternate 1985 Biff.
Oh, yes, this one gets mentioned a lot.
Bob Gale directly stated that the characterization of that Biff Tannen, who becomes incredibly wealthy and corrupt due to the almanac, was inspired by Donald Trump.
Right. Gale mentioned seeing Trump's book, The Art of the Deal, and being struck by his public persona at the time.
It definitely offers a unique lens through which to view the film's commentary on unchecked wealth and power. You know, how society can be shaped by that kind of influence.
And it's a commentary that still resonates today, doesn't it?
It really does.
So to tie this segment together, it's worth noting a very practical and ambitious decision that heavily influenced the film's production.
Okay.
To optimize resources and, crucially, to maximize Michael J. Fox's break from his popular TV show Family Ties, which was ending its run.
Right, he needed that window.
Exactly. The film was shot back-to-back with its sequel, Part 3.
Wow. Both at once.
Both at once. This meant that an astonishing 2 full years were dedicated to meticulously building sets, designing the future, writing both scripts, Part 2 and Part 3, before filming even began in February 1989.
2 years of prep.
Yeah. It was an ambitious logistical undertaking from the very beginning. Showed the immense scale and coordination required to bring such a complex vision to the screen.
The intricate dance through time plot summary.
Okay, let's unpack this. The plot of Back to the Future Part 2. It's famously complex, right? A real masterclass in temporal gymnastics.
Oh, absolutely. It weaves through multiple timelines, revisits familiar moments from the first film. It's dizzying, but brilliant.
Even if you've seen it 100 times, it demands careful attention to follow all the twists and turns. You really have to appreciate the genius of its construction.
Indeed. The film kicks off immediately, October 26, 1985. Literally moments after the first film ended.
Right, with the DeLorean screeching back.
Precisely. Dr. Emmett Doc Brown, Christopher Lloyd, arrives unexpectedly, urging Marty and his girlfriend Jennifer Parker to travel to 2015 with him.
Why 2015?
He explains they need to intervene to help their future children, specifically to prevent some kind of disastrous outcome.
Okay, save the kids.
But here's a crucial detail that sets off the main conflict. As they depart, their perpetual antagonist, Biff Tannen, Thomas F. Wilson, he witnesses their incredible departure.
Biff sees the flying car, never good.
Exactly. His curiosity is piqued.
So what's the mission in 2015?
It's quite specific and urgent. Upon arrival, Doc immediately incapacitates Jennifer, leaves her asleep in an alley.
Whoa, wait.
To prevent her from learning too much about her own future. He's worried about paradoxes
Yeah.
and the potential consequences of that knowledge.
Okay, fair enough for a time traveler.
The core problem they're there to solve is that Marty Jr., their future son, is about to be arrested for a robbery he committed with Griff, Biff's grandson.
Like father, like son, or grandson, I guess.
Right. This arrest, Doc explains, sets off a catastrophic chain of events that utterly destroys the McFly family's future.
Yikes. So what's Marty got to do?
His task seems simple. Impersonate his identical son, Marty Jr., and refuse Griff's offer to participate in the robbery.
Seems straightforward enough.
But things escalate dramatically. Griff, using a familiar tactic, goads Marty by calling him chicken.
Oh, Marty hates being called chicken.
Exactly. It triggers this thrilling, high-flying hoverboard chase, which ultimately culminates in Griff and his gang being arrested. So, mission accomplished, they think. McFly future saved.
But there's always a but, isn't there? This is where Marty makes that fateful purchase.
You got it. The sports almanac.
Before rejoining Doc, Marty, always looking for a quick buck, buys this antique sports almanac. Just a little souvenir.
It seems harmless. Contains 50 years of sports results, 1950 to 2000. He sees it as a simple way to make some cash later.
Never realizing it would become the pivotal object that unravels everything.
The repercussions are immediate and severe. Doc discovers it, and he is not happy. He vehemently warns Marty against profiting from time travel, understands the immense dangers.
Yeah, rule number 1 of time travel, probably.
He tries to dispose of it, toss it in a trash can. But they get interrupted. The police have found the unconscious Jennifer and are taking her to her 2015 home.
Oh, right. They gotta go rescue her.
Exactly. And as Marty and Doc pursue the police, an elderly Biff, who's been lurking nearby, overheard their entire conversation about the almanac.
No.
He cunningly retrieves the discarded book and follows them. That old opportunist.
Man, Biff is always the worst. So Jennifer's waking up in the future.
Yeah, meanwhile, she has her own separate, pretty unsettling journey. Wakes up inside her 2015 home, hides, and overhears deeply troubling stuff about her future life with Marty.
Like what?
Learns it's far from the idyllic vision she held, largely due to Marty's involvement in a car accident that derailed his life. She also witnesses Marty being goaded by his coworker, Needles.
Needles, another troublemaker.
Right, into a shady business deal that ultimately leads to Marty's firing. It's all pretty grim.
Oof.
The stress of these revelations, plus the shock of encountering her future 2015 self, causes her to faint. Just completely overwhelmed.
Okay, so while all that's happening,
The really crucial history-altering event occurs, unbeknownst to Marty and Doc, while they're preoccupied with Jennifer.
Biff makes his move.
Biff, having retrieved the almanac, steals the DeLorean. He travels back in time to November 12, 1955, that key date from the first film.
The day of the dance.
Exactly. Gives the almanac to his younger self, providing him with a lifetime of winning sports results. And then he returns the DeLorean to its original spot in 2015, just moments before Marty and Doc reclaim it.
Oh, that's clever. And sneaky.
The precise timing is key to the entire paradox.
Which leads to that shocking, devastating return to 1985.
Marty and Doc return, leaving an unconscious Jennifer on her porch swing, thinking she'll just sleep it off.
Yeah, what's wrong with her? She's fine.
Right. But Marty quickly realizes this 1985 is drastically, horrifically different. It's dark, twisted, a dystopian version of his hometown.
Biff's pleasure paradise.
Exactly. This grim alternate 1985 is a terrifying reflection of Biff's unchecked power. Thanks to the almanac, Biff is now one of the country's wealthiest and most corrupt men, a truly vile individual.
And El Valley.
Transformed into a chaotic, crime-ridden dystopia under his tyrannical influence. And we learn the really dark stuff. Biff secretly murdered Marty's father, George, in 1973.
Whoa. That's wow.
Yeah. And forced Marty's grieving mother, Lorraine, to marry him.
Oh, my God.
The alternate Doc Brand, committed to a mental hospital. And Marty himself was sent away to a Swiss boarding school. His whole past erased.
So what does this all mean for them? How did they figure it out?
Doc, with his brilliant mind, quickly deduces Biff's timeline alteration. And Marty, through a tense confrontation with the alternate 1985 Biff, learns the crucial detail.
The date.
The date the almanac was received, November 12, 1955. The exact same day as the high school dance from the first film.
The linchpin, the temporal intersection where they have to go back.
That vital piece of knowledge sets off this desperate high-stakes chase to fix history back in 1955. But first, the alternate Biff tries to kill Marty.
Of course he does.
Right, acting on his future self's advice. This forces Marty and Doc to flee back to the familiar landscape of 1955 Hill Valley.
Back to the enchantment under the sea dance.
Once there, Marty embarks on this dangerous covert mission. He secretly follows 1955 Biff, witnesses the crucial exchange, young Biff getting the almanac from old Biff.
Scene double.
Then he follows Biff to the high school dance, meticulously trying to avoid interrupting the events from his previous visit there. It's incredible temporal agility.
He has to dodge himself.
He does. He's forced to intervene only briefly when Biff's gang goes after the other Marty, the one from the first film, performing on stage.
Johnny be good.
Right. Marty finally gets his hands on the almanac, loses it in a frantic struggle on Biff's car, then regains it after being goaded into a fight with Biff.
Oh, call him chicken.
And Biff crashes into a manure truck for the second time in a week.
Perfect. Poetic justice.
The final twist is swift and dramatically sets the stage for the next film. Marty burns the almanac. Poof. Nullifies the catastrophic changes.
History reset for now.
But before he can rejoin Doc, who's hovering above in the time machine, the DeLorean is struck by lightning and disappears.
Gone. Just like that.
Right before Marty's eyes. Shocking. Immediately after this, a Western Union courier arrives, delivering a letter to Marty.
A letter from when?
From Doc, explaining the lightning strike didn't destroy the DeLorean, but transported him 70 years into the past, to 1885.
The Old West.
Marty then races back into town to find the 1955 Doc, the one who had just helped the other, Marty, returned to 1985.
Oh, poor Doc's head must be spinning.
Totally. Overwhelmed by Marty's sudden reappearance in the astonishing letter, Doc faints from the sheer surprise, perfectly setting up part 3.
And leaving the audience absolutely desperate for the next chapter. Brilliant cliffhanger.
Behind-the-scenes casting challenges and groundbreaking effects.
Okay, turning to the production side of things. This film faced some truly unique challenges, didn't it? Particularly with casting.
Oh, yeah.
And these actually had a significant industry-wide impact on Hollywood's practices moving forward. These weren't just minor hiccups, they genuinely changed the game.
The most prominent example, and quite a controversial one, involved Crispin Glover, who played George McFly, Marty's dad, in the first film.
Right. He wasn't in part 2, was he? Not really.
Not really. He was asked to reprise his role, but he just couldn't come to an agreement with the producers regarding his salary.
Ah, the money issue.
Yeah. He stated in an interview, I think it was 1992, that the producer's highest offer was $125,000, which, he noted, was less than half of what the other returning main cast members were offered.
Ouch. Less than half.
But Bob Gale, on the other hand, has asserted that Glover's demands were simply excessive for an actor of his professional stature at that time. So it became a very public and contentious negotiation.
So differing perspectives on that.
Definitely. But what's truly fascinating here is that Glover's stated primary reason for not returning wasn't just about the money, although that was clearly a factor.
Oh, what else?
He cited a profound philosophical disagreement with the film's underlying message.
Really? Philosophical?
Yeah. Glover felt that the story, particularly with elements like Marty's dream truck or his family's improved financial situation at the end of the first film, well, he felt it rewarded characters primarily with financial gain. Instead of with love or personal growth, which he believed was a less desirable, maybe even problematic, message for audiences.
Wow. Okay. That's a deeper reason than just salary.
It is. This deep-seated artistic difference apparently made his return untenable beyond the monetary dispute.
So, since Glover wouldn't return, the role of George McFly had to be dramatically rewritten to accommodate his absence.
Exactly. In that grim, alternate 1985 timeline, George was simply written out of the story altogether, said to have died in 1973.
A stark way to handle it, but convenient, I suppose. Avoided recasting in that timeline.
Right. But they still needed George in the 1955 scenes, didn't they?
Yeah, he's crucial there.
So, to address his necessary presence in 1955, the producers resorted to a workaround that proved highly controversial.
What did they do?
They utilized previously filmed footage of Glover from the first film and combined it with new footage of another actor, Jeffrey Weissman.
Ah, okay. Did he look like him?
Well, Weissman wore extensive prosthetics, false chin, nose, cheekbones, meticulously designed to resemble Glover. And to further obscure Weissman's appearance, make the transition less noticeable, they used various cinematic tricks.
Like what?
Placing him strategically in the background, having him wear sunglasses, or even hanging him upside down in some shots to minimize direct facial recognition.
Hanging him upside down? Seriously?
Apparently so, in the scene where George confronts Biff.
That's wild, but it led to problems, didn't it?
Oh, yes. The ramifications were immense and led to a landmark lawsuit.
What happened?
Glover learned that the molds created from his face for the aging prosthetics in the first film were reused without his permission to make the prosthetics for Weissman's portrayal in Part 2.
Whoa, okay, that doesn't sound right.
He was understandably unhappy, felt exploited, and sued the producers for unauthorized use of his likeness.
Makes sense.
This case, although eventually resolved outside of court through a settlement, is considered absolutely key in establishing and solidifying personality rights for actors in Hollywood.
So it had a real legacy.
A huge legacy. As a direct result, new clauses were added to the Screen Actors Guild collective bargaining agreements. These clauses specifically prevent producers and studios from using such methods: prosthetics, archival footage, digital means to reproduce the likeness of other actors without their explicit consent and compensation.
Wow. It fundamentally changed things, put more power back with the performers.
Exactly. It protected their image and likeness in a way that hadn't been codified before.
There was another significant cast change too, right? Jennifer Parker.
Yes, though far less contentious than the Glover situation. Claudia Wells, who played Jennifer in the first film, had initially planned to reprise her role.
But she didn't.
No. Tragically, she had to withdraw from the production due to a pressing family cancer crisis. She chose to care for her mother during a critical time.
Oh, that's understandable. Family first.
Absolutely. Elizabeth Shue was ultimately cast as her replacement.
And they had to make that seamless, right? Since the movie starts right where the first one ended.
Precisely. To maintain continuity, the closing scene of Back to the Future, where Doc, Marty, and Jennifer get into the DeLorean, was painstakingly reshot, almost shot for shot with Shue, for the opening of Part 2.
Wow. Dedication.
It's a remarkable testament to their dedication to a smooth transition for the audience. And it's nice to note Wells eventually did return to the role, voicing Jennifer for the 2011 Telltale game.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and she appeared in later Blu-ray documentaries, so she came full circle with the franchise.
That's great to hear. So, beyond the casting dramas, Part 2 was just an absolute marvel of visual effects, wasn't it?
Oh, completely. It didn't just push the boundaries, it shattered them, established new possibilities for what could be achieved in cinema at the time.
How so? What were they doing?
Well, the production efforts were truly immense and meticulously planned. Remember those 2 years dedicated to pre-filming?
Yeah, for sets and scripts.
Absolutely crucial. Allowed for extensive building of intricate sets, designing that whole 2015 world, and writing both scripts simultaneously.
And filming started when?
Principal photography officially began February 20, 1989. And Michael J. Fox, consummate professional, was essentially working double duty.
Because of family ties.
Right. Wrapping up the final season of his TV show while filming this huge blockbuster. The intensity peaked during the final 3 weeks of filming.
Ow.
The crew actually split into 2 units. Some focused solely on completing Part 2, while the majority shifted their efforts to begin shooting Part 3.
Filming 2 movies at once.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And Robert Zemeckis himself famously supervised both productions simultaneously,
Yeah.
flying between locations in California, reportedly sleeping only a few hours a night.
That's insane commitment.
Extraordinary. A true testament to the ambition of the project.
And that commitment, you can see it in the groundbreaking visual effects.
Absolutely. Part 2 was considered one of Industrial Light and Magic's ILM's most ambitious and innovative projects to date.
ILM, the gold standard.
And this film marked one of their very first major forays into the then nascent field of digital compositing.
Digital compositing. Explain that a bit.
Basically, it's electronically layering multiple images or elements together to create a single, seamless, often complex, new image. A huge leap from traditional optical methods, which were far more rigid and prone to visual flaws.
Okay, got it. And this is where it truly highlights their genius, right? The multiple characters played by one actor.
Yes. ILM also utilized this incredibly innovative technology called the VistaGlide Motion Control Camera System.
VistaGlide. What did that do?
It was revolutionary because it allowed a single actor to portray multiple characters simultaneously on screen while the camera was in full dynamic motion.
Wait, the camera could move. Usually that effect needed a locked-off camera.
Exactly. Previously, having one actor play multiple parts usually meant a static camera. But with VistaGlide, these multiple characters, all played by the same actor, could even interact directly with each other.
Like passing things between them.
Precisely. This was unprecedented for achieving dynamic and believable scenes like Michael J. Fox playing Marty Sr., Marty Jr., and Marlene McFly, all in the same shot, passing objects, looking at each other naturally.
That kitchen scene.
That's the one. The technique was also used extensively when other characters like Biff or Doc or Jennifer encountered and interacted with their counterparts from different timelines, created truly mind-bending visual continuity.
Amazing stuff. Anything else, effects-wise?
Well, the film even included a brief yet memorable moment of pioneering computer-generated imagery CGI.
Oh, yeah. Where?
For that holographic shark promoting the fictional Jaws 19.
Jaws 19. Still waiting for that one.
Huh. And what's fascinating here is that the effects supervisor, Ken Ralston, actually liked the messed-up look of the very first test render of the shark. It had this slightly glitched, incomplete appearance.
And he kept it.
Kept it as is. Felt it gave it a unique, charming, maybe even more futuristic quality.
That's a cool little detail.
And animation supervisor Wes Takahashi was also heavily involved in the film's iconic time travel sequences, consistent with his pivotal work across the whole trilogy, ensuring that visual language remained consistent and impactful.
Right, the streaks of light, the flaming tire tracks.
All that good stuff.
And as a very clever marketing move, especially given the back-to-back production.
They had footage for Part 3 ready.
Exactly. Sufficient footage had already been shot by the time Part 2 neared its release. This allowed a teaser trailer for Part 3 to be assembled and added right at the end of Part 2 before the credits.
Coming summer 1990.
Right. A direct reassurance to moviegoers that more was indeed coming left them excited and anticipating the next chapter. Brilliant franchise management.
The future that was and wasn't. Predictions of 2015.
Okay, let's pivot to the aspect of Part 2 that has captivated generations. Its detailed, often whimsical vision of 2015.
Ah, yes, the future.
It's the one part everyone inevitably talks about. The big question is, how accurate was it really? And what does its hit-or-miss accuracy tell us about predicting the future?
It's absolutely crucial to remember the filmmaker's approach here. Robert Zemeckis himself has openly stated the film was not meant to be a serious, scientifically accurate prediction.
Right, he wasn't trying to be Nostradamus.
Not at all. He famously disliked films that tried, noting even a visionary like Stanley Kubrick missed obvious things like the personal computer.
Good point.
So their decision was intentional. Just make it funny, rather than strive for scientific accuracy. They wanted to contrast it with those grim, pessimistic sci-fi futures.
And Bob Gale said,
He echoed it. Famously stated, we knew we weren't going to have flying cars by the year 2015, but God, we had to have those in our movie.
gotta fly cars.
Their primary goal was entertainment and comedy, not prophecy, and that playful intention really shines through.
But despite that disclaimer, they did get a surprising number of things right, didn't they? Or at least close.
They really did. For instance, the rise of ubiquitous cameras, seemingly everywhere in our environment now. Spot on.
True. And drones.
The use of unmanned flying drones for news gathering, a common sight in modern journalism today. Nailed it.
What else?
Widescreen flat panel TVs mounted on walls, viewing multiple channels. Standard now. Smart home technology, controlling household functions. Video chat systems, Zoom, FaceTime, totally ubiquitous.
Yeah, video calls are huge.
Hands-free video games.
Yeah.
Interactive talking animated billboards. Wearable tech like smart glasses. Tablet computers with fingerprint scanners, head-mounted displays, all exist or are very common now.
Even paying with portable devices.
Yes. Payment on personal portable devices with fingerprint scanning for security, like Apple Pay. Accurately foreseen, it shows a broader shift they picked up on.
That's actually quite a list when you lay it all out.
It is surprisingly prescient in many ways.
Now, for what many consider the most fun part, the predictions that didn't quite land, or maybe took a little longer than anticipated.
Right, the misses are just as famous as the hits.
Where the imagination maybe outpaced reality.
The most iconic example, of course, is Marty's unforgettable Nike Air Mag shoes with automatic power laces.
The self-lacing Nikes, everyone wanted those.
And Nike, always savvy, played into it. They released the Air McFly Hyperdunks in 2008, resembling the movie shoes. Then they filed a patent for actual self-lacing shoes in 2009.
Did they ever make them for real?
Well, first, a fan, Blake Bevan, actually created working self-tying shoes in 2010, showed the fascination.
Wow, a fan did it first.
Yep. Nike made very limited Air Mags for charity in 2011, but no power laces for consumers initially. But then, designer Tinker Hatfield hinted in 2014 that power lacing tech would arrive in 2015.
So did it.
Almost. Nike unveiled the HyperAdapt 1.0, a consumer model with true self-lacing, in March 2016, sold later that year.
So off by a year. Still pretty remarkable.
A bit delayed, but still a remarkable fulfillment. Shows how cultural imagination can inspire real tech.
Okay, what about flying cars and hoverboards, the big ones?
Ah, yes. The staples of the movie's future. The futuristic taxicab was based on a real Citroën DS, interestingly.
A Citroën, huh?
As for hoverboards, Zemeckis famously joked they were real but withheld due to safety complaints, which led to kids actually asking for them in toy stores.
Huh. I remember that rumor.
In the real world, attempts like hoverboats exist, blasting air. One went 275 meters in 2021. There's the Magbor using superconductors and liquid nitrogen, but it needs extreme cold and a special track. Not exactly practical.
Right, not quite ready for Hill Valley.
And remember the HUVR tech hoverboard demo in 2014 with Christopher Lloyd?
Oh yeah, that looked amazing.
Revealed as an elaborate hoax by Sonny or Die, showed how much people wanted it to be real.
Definitely tapped into that desire.
Interestingly, while true hoverboards are still elusive, those self-balancing scooters, often called hoverboards, became super popular right around 2015.
Right, the ones that don't actually hover.
Exactly. The spirit of the hoverboard arrived, if not the actual hovering physics.
And perhaps the most famous prediction miss, or incredibly close near miss, was in sports.
Oh, the Cubs. Got to talk about the Cubs.
The film famously imagined the Chicago Cubs winning the 2015 World Series against a fictional Miami team.
Right, poking fun at the Cubs' notoriously long championship drought, back then dating to 1908.
And Miami didn't even have a team then.
Nope. Florida got 2 MLB teams later.
Yeah.
In real 2015, the Cubs did make the postseason, first time since 2008. It felt like it could happen.
The hype was real.
But they lost the National League Championship Series to the New York Mets on October 21st.
No way. October 21st.
Back to the Future Day. The exact date Marty arrived in 2015 in the film. You couldn't write it.
That's uncanny.
But here's the kicker, connecting to that bigger picture of fate and irony.
What happened?
While they missed 2015, 1 year later, in 2016, the Chicago Cubs did win the World Series against the Cleveland Indians, broke the 108-year drought.
They actually did it, just a year late.
Exactly. The official Back to the Future Twitter account even playfully tweeted that Marty and Doc's time traveling caused a rift in the space-time continuum that delayed the prediction by a year.
That's perfect. A great full circle moment.
For full context, the actual 2015 World Series was won by the Kansas City Royals against the Mets.
Okay. Any other sports predictions?
A small but interesting win. Slam ball. That high-energy sport mentioned briefly, mixing basketball and trampolines. It actually became a real professional sport in 2002.
Slam ball. I remember that. So they got one right there.
Release, reception, and legacy.
So with all this ambition, this intricate plot, these groundbreaking effects, how did the world actually react to Back to the Future Part 2 when it came out? Did audiences embrace the complexity right away?
Well, it was released in North America on Wednesday, November 22, 1989. Prime spot, day before Thanksgiving.
What a timing.
And it had an impressive box office start. Grossed $43 million over its 5-day holiday opening. Broke the Thanksgiving record held by Rocky IV.
Wow, bigger than Rocky IV.
Yep. Showed a strong public appetite for the sequel. It did see a significant drop, about 56% in its second weekend, but still held the #1 spot.
Okay, so strong start, then maybe leveled off a bit.
Kind of. Its total worldwide gross eventually topped $332 million. Made it the third highest grossing film of 1989 globally.
Third highest. That's huge. What beat it?
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade and Batman. So, still amazing company.
Definitely.
However, it's worth noting that was still short of the first film's overall gross. And Part 3, released just 6 months later, saw a similar decline.
Interesting. Maybe a bit of franchise fatigue or the complexity.
Could be a mix of factors. Interestingly, in Japan, it had a record opening, grossed $7.5 million in 6 days. Huge resonance there.
So, big hit financially, but maybe not quite the phenomenon the first one was. What about critics?
The critical reception was initially quite mixed. It's certainly seen some reappraisal over the years, which often happens with complex films like this.
How mixed are we talking?
On Rotten Tomatoes, it currently holds a 63% approval rating. The consensus there says it's far more uneven than its predecessor, but its madcap highs outweigh the occasionally cluttered machinations of an overstuffed plot.
Okay, so acknowledging the flaws but appreciating the ambition.
Pretty much. On Metacritic, it has a score of 57 out of 100, indicating mixed or average reviews.
But audiences liked it more.
Seems so. Audiences polled by CinemaScore gave it an encouraging A. Suggests that while critics wrestled with it, general viewers found it highly enjoyable.
Let's look at some specific critics. What were the positives?
Roger Ebert gave it 3 out of 4 stars. He felt it lacked the genuine power of the original, but praised its slapstick humor and that hoverboard chase. saw the entertainment value.
Okay.
Janet Maslin at the New York Times found it giddily and merrily mind-boggling rather than confusing. She appreciated the intricate storytelling.
She wasn't confused then.
Apparently not. Tom Tunney at Empire called it high-energy escapism and solidly entertaining, though he did see it as inferior to the other two films. Kind of a bridge movie for him.
Okay, solid positives. What about the negative reviews? What were their main complaints?
They often zeroed in on the elements that made the film so ambitious. Jonathan Rosenbaum at the Chicago Reader was particularly harsh.
I know.
Criticized Zemeckis and Gale for turning characters into strident geeks and making the action feel formulaic. He also controversially cited rampant misogyny.
Misogyny? Why?
Pointing to Jennifer being knocked unconscious early on so she won't interfere with the little boy games, and Michael J. Fox dressing in drag as Marlene.
Okay, that's a strong take. Any other criticisms?
Variety noted Zemeckis' fascination with having characters interact at different ages hurts it visually and strains credibility past the breaking point by forcing him to rely on some very cheesy makeup designs.
Oh, the aging makeup. Some people did find that a bit much.
Yeah, it was ambitious for the time, but maybe didn't always land perfectly visually for everyone.
What's truly fascinating here is how co-writer Bob Gale reflected on this mixed reception later on in 2018.
Oh yeah, what did he say?
He directly attributed it to the dark aspect of the story, particularly that grim, alternate 1985 timeline.
Biff Tannen's hellscape.
Right. He felt audiences were absolutely surprised by it and that the whole 1985 stuff, we went places the audience was not ready to go. But he added, that is some of my favorite stuff in the whole trilogy.
Wow. So he stood by the darker choices.
Absolutely. It raises that point about audience expectations versus artistic ambition. Gale clearly appreciated the film's willingness to go to those darker places, even if it initially alienated some viewers expecting just a lighthearted repeat of the first film.
Yeah, it definitely took some risks. Did it win any awards? Especially for those effects. It did. Despite the mixed reviews, Part 2 received several significant accolades, particularly for its technical achievements. It won the Saturn Award for Best Special Effects and the BAFTA Award for Best Special Visual Effects.
BAFTA and Saturn, that's big recognition for the effects team.
Absolutely. Recognizing Ralston, Lantieri, Bell, Gawley, and the whole ILM crew. It also earned some other awards, like a Golden Screen Award, a Young Artist Award, and Kids' Choice Awards for Fox and Leah Thompson.
So kids liked it?
Seems so.
Yeah.
It was nominated for the 1990 Academy Award for Best Visual Effects, too.
Did it win the Oscar?
No, it lost out to The Abyss, another visual effects pioneer. Tough competition that year.
True. And the theme's continued life through home media. That's a whole story itself, right?
Definitely. Shows its enduring popularity. It first came out on VHS and Laserdisc May 22, 1990.
Just before Part 3 hit theaters.
Exactly, 3 days before. Clever strategy to build hype. It was one of the first releases under the new MCA Universal Home Video banner, too.
Then DVD.
Yep, December 2002. In a boxed trilogy set. Though early versions had some widescreen framing problems, apparently, got recalled.
Growing pains of DVD.
Then Blu-ray in October 2010. And a big re-release on October 20, 2015, right before Back to the Future Day.
What was special about that one?
It included that fun featurette, Doc Brown Saves the World, where Christopher Lloyd reprised Doc to playfully explain the differences between the film's 2015 and real-life 2015.
Oh, that's brilliant. Very meta.
Yeah, fans loved that. Then a new 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray remaster came out in October 2020 as part of the Ultimate Trilogy. Keeps it looking sharp.
It's had quite the afterlife. And there was that little edit controversy on Netflix, wasn't there?
Ah, yes. That raises an interesting point about preserving artistic intent. In May 2020, when the trilogy hit Netflix, eagle-eyed viewers noticed a tiny edit in Part 2.
What was it?
During the scene with the fictional Oh La La magazine, the shot showing the cover reveal was cut slightly short, omitting a clear view of the magazine itself.
Huh. Why?
Bob Gale confirmed he and Zemeckis were unaware. They believed it came from a foreign print, which sometimes have minor edits. Universal quickly responded, providing Netflix with the unedited theatrical version.
Look, they fixed it.
Yeah, a small detail, but highlights the ongoing need to ensure films maintain their original integrity across all platforms, especially digitally.
Makes sense. And briefly, the music, Alan Silvestri's score.
Oh, fantastic score. The soundtrack was released November 22, 1989. Unlike the first film's soundtrack, this one contained only the musical score, no pop songs.
Just Silvestri's work.
All music rated at 4.5 out of 5 stars. recognized Silvestri's genius in crafting a score that was both familiar and innovative, perfectly capturing the film's complex shifts. And in 2015, Entrada Records released the complete score in a 2-disc set.
For the real score aficionados.
Exactly. Early sessions, alternative takes, the works, outro.
So we've taken a truly comprehensive deep dive into Back to the Future Part 2. We've peeled back the layers of its incredibly complex plot, explored the ingenious solutions to its casting challenges, marveled at its groundbreaking visual effects, and reflected on those playful, sometimes surprisingly insightful predictions. It's quite a journey.
It truly is. It's a film that dared to imagine not just, flying cars and hoverboards, but also the profound ripple effects of seemingly small choices across time. It brilliantly highlights the immense creativity and technical prowess required to weave such an intricate narrative, especially amidst all those production hurdles.
Yeah, the back-to-back filming, the casting issues.
Exactly. The film's enduring appeal, I think, lies in its ability to marry that grand spectacle with deeply human themes: destiny, free will, the consequences of our actions.
Ultimately, Back to the Future Part 2 wasn't just a simple sequel, was it? It was an ambitious experiment in storytelling and filmmaking.
Absolutely. It pushed boundaries, took risks, delivered a narrative that continues to spark conversation, analysis, admiration. Decades later, proves its indelible impact on pop culture.
Definitely.
And this raises an important question maybe for you, our listener, to consider as you reflect on this deep dive. Given the film's fascinating blend of surprising accuracy and humorous misses in its vision of 2015, what does Back to the Future Part 2 truly tell us about the inherent nature of predicting the future? And perhaps even about our own evolving desires for what tomorrow should look like. What technologies do we still wish were commonplace, and what does that say about us?
That's a great thought to leave people with. What future are we still hoping for? Well, thank you for joining us for this deep dive. We hope you've gained some fascinating insights and maybe even a few aha moments about this iconic film and the world it dared to imagine.
Hope you enjoyed the trip.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive.